Alright, so I'm getting ready to start on the Sega CD here. Like I said, with this, I think it's usually the fuse that blows out in most of these, so I'm almost positive that's what it's going to be on this. I wouldn't think it's a laser eye on this, but I guess we'll see. First thing I like to do when working on any of this kind of stuff, especially if it's an add-on like that, I'll test out the Genesis to make sure this is working, so we can knock that out as a variable, just in case. So, there, I got my Genesis going. Yeah, so that's all good. Alright, so there's that. And we will get to the hooking up the Sega CD2 here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I got the Sega CD hooked up to the Genesis now. So anyway, what we're going to do here is see what we got. And so turning that on, that should have accessed the access light here for the power on the Sega CD. I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't. I'm kind of glad that didn't start up. I mean, when troubleshooting it anyway, that almost guarantees that it's the fuse on there and not a disk read problem. So we will go from there. I'm going to attempt to replace the fuse, and we'll get to that in just a second. So here's the Sega CD disassembled. Pretty easy. Wasn't really much to it. You have something like 6 screws on the bottom of the case, and then open that up, disconnect your ribbon here, and I think there is 4 screws holding the board to the chassis, and there was 2 here at the I guess it's the mount for the Sega Genesis. So anyway, disconnect all that. You will want to remove the screw here. It's to your LED for your power light. And what should be the culprit, or I'm hoping is the culprit here, is, let's see if I can find it. Oh. At least on this model, it is mounted on the bottom here. Okay, right there. That F301. Okay, so this is the fuse. It's most probably blown. So anyway, gonna disconnect that, and I'll show you what I'm gonna replace it with. Okay, so these are actually what I'm gonna end up replacing that fuse with. These are actually 2.5 amp quick blow fuses. Actually, I had to order them off of eBay because Radio Shack, as of this week, is no more, which is kind of a pain in the ass because for these I had to pay something like $6 with shipping, which is really high for a few fuses. The other way you can do it is you can actually attach a removable fuse in here. Basically, it's like a socket, and then you can put your glass fuse in there and just change those out, but I'm not too worried about that. If one of these blows and I have to go through the process of opening all this up to replace a fuse, I might as well just solder one on because it's just as easy, at least for me. So, anyway, we're going to go with the quick blow fuses here. Alright, so here's my newly installed fuse here. And focus. There we go. Yeah, so there's the fuse installed. So hopefully we can see if it's going to work here in a second. And I guess I'll put all this back together. I'll probably put a piece of electrical tape down just so you don't have to worry about anything shorting out. So anyway, we'll be back with that. And here's the Sega CD reassembled, and I hooked the Genesis back up to it, and we'll see what we got. Oh, access light, and the BIOS. Excellent. Alright, now let's see if it'll actually play a game. Plug in my controller. its rating. Awesome. So, there we go. Fully functional Sega CD again. And, I mean, really, I think that was 15 minutes worth of work, you know. Probably only cost about 30 cents to actually do this whole job if it weren't for the fact that I had to order the fuses online, since you can't just walk into your local Radio Shack anymore. But, yeah. Easy peasy. So, that's another good system out of the bunch. Thanks for watching. Alright, there's one thing I wanted to go back over with whenever doing these old systems. Whenever you do manage to get them working again, one of the things I like to do is ensure that they continue working. So, especially with the laser lens ones, it's always good to take some white lithium grease and always kind of stick those, or stick some on your gears and on the rail, and that'll make sure that it actually continues to run properly. Cut down on some friction, stress on the gears, so it's never a bad idea to kind of put that on your systems. Just a little bit of a tip there. Okay. I'll put some more on here in a second. Okay, so I gave all the gears a decent coat there. All you're going to want to do then, once you get it into the grooves, is just kind of move your gear back and forth. And that'll kind of work all that grease into the different grooves and stuff. So anyway, that's one thing I like to do to make sure that keeps going. Another thing I always do too is I sprayed some alcohol on a Q-tip, and then you want to go to your laser eye, very gently kind of rub it on there. And you want it semi-wet. You don't want it soaking wet. Just enough to kind of clean off your eye. Make sure you don't scratch it. And then once you use the alcohol end, take your dry end and rub it around on there. I've actually gotten systems that this is all that was wrong with it. Just need a good cleaning on the laser eye. I actually bought a Turbo Duo and brought it back to life just by doing these two things here, greasing the gears and cleaning the eye. So yeah, just because something's supposedly broken doesn't mean you can't bring it back to life. Anyway, thanks for watching.